Hello guys, Frost here. So today we are looking how to actually fight the boss. So when you choose your team, again, I need to say it again. So you need to do less attack on the boss. So that is really good with Alistair, Volca if you have A5. Not reliable if not A5. Then you need a stun for the saw phase. You need a cleanse for the poison phase. Then you want to have your heroes to take less damage with some buffs or constant buffs, some shields, instant healing to a lot of units, then armor break on the boss, and to have some ignore defense damage. Okay, when that out of the picture, let's go through the boss and how you should be doing. So if you have heavy melee fight, you would place Elowen somewhere here. So this is like the Elowen place. And then she would cover this position. So you have 4 platform heroes, and then you have everything else for the fighters. If you're going to play heavy on platform heroes, you would place Elowen here, and then you would have all of this being covered. So in one case you have 3 platform heroes next to Elowen, and in this case you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 platform heroes next to Elowen. Okay, so this is how you would have placed them. Then tanks you would be placing in front, and arrogance I always place here. I've noticed that he doesn't do big damage things on arrogance. He never died first, but like for example hero that is placed here, usually used lust there. She would occasionally die from like some random hit that he does. So on the heroes that are here, so next to the boss, try to have them being more tanky than usual. Okay, so other than that, like boss has 3 phases. So there's like a shield phase, there's saw phase, and then there's poison phase. Let's go through poison phase first. It's the easiest one. So he does poison when it starts, then he sprays poison on all of them. When there's 2 stacks of poison before 50k, you should remove it on 2 stacks. So using someone like Elowen or Medan. Here where you have Elowen, you can use Medan as well, just to note that. Okay, when you're using cleansing poison, you don't cleanse poison right away, but you try to cleanse it after he used it first time. Then what you're trying to do is kill the boss before he does, so he's going to do the second poison. So you get first poison right away, then he does poison first time himself with a hand, then you cleanse. Then he will do it again, but 1 poison is manageable, but like having 2 poison is really hard to do. So you're trying to kill him before he applies poison 3rd time. So you will cleanse it after 2 poisons first time, and then you try to cleanse it after 2 poisons 2nd time. But it's really hard to have like Elowen or Medan themselves to be able to keep your guys up with 2 poisons before they get the 2nd cleanse. At least with Elowen, I had like 100 rage and 400 attack speed, and she wasn't able to have cleanse ready before the 3rd poison. Okay, okay, so that's pretty much it. So what you want to do, if you have poison done in all the phases, you're trying early game, so it's fight is easier at the start and gets harder as you go. So early on, you're trying just to kill the boss without using the ults. Boss goes into vulnerability when his HP goes to 0. So early on, especially for the poison phase, if you have the cleansing covered, you're trying not to use any ults, then use all the ults when the boss gets to 1%. And then when when the HP goes to 0, he goes into vulnerable state, and then he takes I don't know, 30 or 60% vulnerability or something, and then you are doing a lot more damage with your ultimates. But this is like a bonus tip if you're able to do the mech at the certain threshold. When boss gets harder, then you have to start using your ults during the combat itself, and you cannot wait for everything to be ready for him just to die and everything else. But if you have like 1.5 minutes, when you kill it, that means that you have room there, unless you will die in that time. But if you have 1.5 minutes and you won't die, that means that you can save the ults and use them in the end, and then get a lot more damage. So maybe it can push you through some thresholds, and then that would be that for the poison phase. Then for the saw phase, as you can see here, he has like the saw. When he starts attacking with the saw, he will attack left side and then the right side. But the interesting thing is, like, this middle row will be attacked twice. So when you're placing your heroes, you try to place here a bit more tanky heroes, because they will be hit twice. So if your Elowen is, iffy if she will live, better to place her here, and then on this position, and then here place some DPS that will have more HP than her, but that should be rare. But like, I think it's better for Elowen to be there still, because you will have a lot more HP on her than on some DPS, probably. Okay. Then for the saw phase, going back to it, when it attacks, when it starts charging the saw, every time you do a control thingies to her, so stun and stuff like that, it will interrupt the saw a bit, so the cast bar, and at the same time it will give a, and the debuff there is on the boss, and it will make him do a less damage with the saw. So basically, if you have like tanky-ish heroes, if you want to try going for 50k, I have minus 30% damage reduction on the boss, and then I need to get 2 debuffs on the saw so I can safely tank it. If I'm not safe, so if it's not 2, if it's only 1 debuff on the boss, then what I have to do is I'm having Farsi in my team, and Farsi with ultimate heals everyone for a certain amount. So what I do is I turn the speed to 1, wait for the saw to hit once, and then he will hit again when he pulls the saw back. At that time, when he hits once, I would hit the ult before he does damage again, and at that way I can survive even if I didn't interrupt enough, because some units don't interrupt 100% of the time. It's RNG, so RNG, if it's not on your side, like, yeah, sometimes it's 9 and then you don't have to care about anything, but sometimes it's 1 or 0 and then you have to try mitigate it somehow, or just restart. Okay, so that's the saw part. Then when we get to the shield part, that's a difficult part to kill the boss. Bit easier to survive, but it's not. It's tough to survive as well, to be honest. But yeah, the hard part there is because all the time boss will get himself buffed with the shield. So what I like to do is at the point when it gets tough, I don't use ults anymore when the boss goes vulnerable phase. I try to save the ults when the boss leaves the vulnerability phase. At that point, boss still doesn't have the damage reduction buff on himself, so that means that you will be doing the most damage you can at that point. So what I try is to use save the ults and use all the ults when the boss gets his HP back up. And usually I am able to do 20% of his HP as damage before he applies a shield. Usually I can do 18 normally, but like I try to hit 20 mark, and when I was able to hit 20, I was able to kill the boss. So that was the hardest part, because at like 42k he goes into shield phase, and then he just has 60% less, damage taken and everything else, and it's super hard to kill, and you just don't have time. And if you're too DPSy, so your heroes are glass cannony, they die, and so you have to find a balance between damage and survivability. At that phase, the hardest hitting thing usually is when he slams a shield on the left side, so his right side, and then he drags it to the other side. What you want to do there is, like, when he slams the shield, you want to use Elowen, Medan, or some other healing over time if you have, or anything else, Vortex, some shields, and then when he goes through, he hits once, then Elowen and Medan heal again, and then he doesn't kill your units. So that's additionally what you can do. And on this phase, you need a lot of armor ignore. So heroes like that are really good. Salazar is really good because he has high attack, and here I would suggest that if you don't have like the best, the Pope and stuff like that, I would suggest that your heroes are build triple attack. So who is not armor ignore, you build them triple attack if possible, of course. And due to that, that you are sometimes going for just attack, crit rate, crit damage, skipping attack speed, and then you can get some weaker gear pieces on your units. That way it should be a bit easier to gear them up. Again, we still want attack speed, but we don't need 300, 380, 400. It would be fine with just like 200 or something, but you want them to be more tanky. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Long 2 videos, but I hope this guys help you kill the boss. Okay, good luck, have fun, and remember, in the end, when we catch them all, we still need to play the game. So keep some crystals for stamina. Don't spend on summoning. Cheers, guys. Bye bye.